Hello to all my fellow glorious Gaians. Thank you for joining me, Amber, on my channel, Guidance Through Gaia, where I do tarot card readings. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I hope you find something enjoyable or something useful for you. If this is a returning viewer, if you're a returning viewer, then I want to just say thank you so much for coming back and allowing me to read your energy again. So we are going to do another spicy reading. We are doing an 18 plus, your next sexual encounter reading. And this one's, okay guys, okay. I am getting really close to monetization. Like the last time I checked, which was this morning, I was at 666 subscribers, which like continues to blow my mind. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all of you. That being said, like, I'm going to try to be a little bit more careful about my spicy readings. So we're going to be using a pretty innocent deck today. And there will be an extended reading where if you want to explore it with me, we can get into more finite details. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the person that you'll be having the sexual encounter with. We're going to be looking at a little bit of a more toned down description of like what's going to happen. And then I did just buy recently this, what do they call it? I don't know. I guess it's the pendulum board or whatever. And we're going to look and see what time of the year or what times of the year you might be encountering this individual or experiencing this sexual encounter. So, without further ado, we have 3 piles to choose from here. We have the Alchemist. I'm not going to lie, like it first came up like that. I don't take these in reverse though. And I was like, made me think of some testes. Then we have group number 2 with Angel. And group number 3 with Green Man. Okay, so go ahead and meditate on this and pick your pile, and I will see you there. Bye. Hello, group 1. You chose the card, the Alchemist, and this is going to be your reading on your next sexual encounter. So I've got these pre-shuffled oracle cards here that will represent the person that you are going to be getting freaky with next. So let's get started. Of course, we have the Alchemist. We have this beautiful card, and it's 15, the Communicator. Affirmation: I remember that my words can have multiple meanings. We have card number 3 with the Starborn. And then we have card number 13. Oh, okay, 15 and 13, cool. With Dignified and Strength. So first thing here is that I see a lot of associations already with tarot in these oracle cards. So when I think of the Alchemist, I think of the Magician. And the Magician is ruled by Mercury, so that is Virgo and Gemini energy. When I see the number 3, I think of the Empress, and that is ruled by Venus and is associated with Libra. Although Taurus is also ruled by Venus. And then when I see this one here that says Strength, I do think of this, oh my god, the Strength card in tarot, which is represented by Leo energy. And so those placements, like those signs, could be of some significance. They don't have to be, but it can certainly be confirmation for you about this being a person that you expect it to be, or the type of person that you would be involved with. And even if they don't have those placements necessarily, they could still express some of the traits that we expect in those signs, like Gemini having kind of a sense of duality, and kind of an air of mystery and might not know what the other side of the coin is. Libra being someone who is very concerned about aesthetics and pleasurable pleasing themselves and pleasuring their senses and fairness and balance. Leo with being the center of attention, having fun, showing moments of bravery, helping others. Or Virgo, someone who is meticulous, someone who may be critical at times, someone who is nurturing. So, moving beyond that, the alchemist is somebody who transforms their surroundings. And so I think that the person that you are going to be physically, sexually involved with next is somebody who probably can think outside of the box, somebody who is very adept at seeing situations more abstractly. It's kind of interesting here with this card. We have the snake, the pentacle, the flowers, and then that leads up to like this black and red heart, excuse me. And all of those things just seem kind of random, but I think this person can really figure out how to make associations between factors that don't seem related. Though we've got a key here, and this looks like a birth chart print, maybe over a map. Is that Africa? It kind of looks like Africa to me, but I don't know. So I do think that this also means that your person could be very creative in bed, that they might be somebody who is able to surprise you and do things that you wouldn't normally expect, that you've never experienced before. And some of these things might even be on the fly. Like, they may not necessarily know what direction they're going until they get there, but I think this person is very creative. Then with this communicator card, they could be a twin or have twins, whether fraternal or identical. But this also does represent a sense of innocence, and the communicator is somebody who is very in tune with being aware of how they communicate with others and how they respond to situations, because they understand that their words have an impact. There's someone who is very interested in getting to the point and clearing up any confusion and truly understanding the other person's point of view. And I think this could also really represent a lot of Leo energy, because Leos can be very good talkers. They can be very smooth talkers. Not necessarily that I think this person is disingenuous. Like, it doesn't seem like it at all. But they may be very eloquent, may be very good with their words. With this alchemist card and this communicator card, I kind of think that maybe your person, or the person that you'll be involved with next, is somebody that has some sort of like position where they interact directly with others, or like they have to, whether it's like a consumer that they interact with, or maybe they have to pitch ideas or something. So, I mean, this could be somebody who, with this being alchemist, could literally be like in some form of science. They could also be somebody who is like a project manager, or anything that involves having to I think it's anything that can involve creativity and is mentally stimulating, so that like maybe they have a problem and then they have to find a solution. With this Starborn card, this person I feel like is very nurturing. They are probably somebody who takes very good care of themselves physically and mentally and aesthetically. They also probably have, I would say they probably have like a really nicely decorated place. Like even if it's kind of bare bones, you know, there are select pieces within their living area that really stand out and are attractive in some way or form. I think this person, just because we've got all these different colors here, I feel like this person could be multiracial or biracial, maybe with some African background in there. And this is a person who I think does have kind of a sense of dreaminess. They may, especially with that Libra energy, and even a little bit of that Leo, kind of romanticize life and their experiences in life. They may be compelled to pursue things that to others may seem out of reach. And they may believe a certain amount of like things being like destiny. I do think that they also believe that we are in control of our paths and that the universe will not do the work for us, but they could feel like maybe some moments are divinely orchestrated, you know, or some encounters are divinely orchestrated. So I do think that this person does have a certain level of spirituality to them. And then dignified strength. So when something is dignified in our birth charts, that means it's in the area that is most compatible with it. So for instance, the book gives like, you know, if you have a Mars in Scorpio or Aries, because Mars rules both of those signs. Or for instance, like if you have a Venus that's in Taurus or Libra, then that area of your birth chart is going to show that there's more harmony in it, and it's more expressed. Where if you have a sign that is more of the opposite, then there might be more struggles in expressing that part of your chart, you know, whether it's like with your Mercury or your Venus or your rising. I do think that this is somebody who tries to live their life according to a certain moral code. You know, I don't necessarily see this person as like the most serious person in the world. I do think that they have a fun and playful side to them, but they also have a sense of integrity. And I think they have a goal or maybe multiple goals where they just kind of set their mind to it and they don't stray from it, and they work until they're satisfied with it, you know, and then maybe they'll work towards another goal. But this person seems cool. I'm kind of interested to see. One thing I want to see is like what Because this could be someone you know or are involved with, and this could be somebody new. So how do I want to word it? I want to see like what entices you about them, and then what entices them about you. So that way, I mean, it fits both situations. Like, what gets your gears going right away, guys? Okay, what about group one's person entices them into this next sexual encounter? So the 9 of Wands in reverse. Okay. What entices group 1 about Temperance? Oh, I didn't know her boobs were showing. She has nipples. Crap. Oh well. You can barely see it. Oh, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I got distracted. What entices group 1 about their person and getting freaky? So the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So what I'm seeing here is that this might be something that's unplanned. This might be spontaneous with this 9 of Wands in reverse, because that can talk about a lack of direction. It can also really talk about, like, you know, not being stressed. Just kind of going with the flow, not being too serious about something. We've got Temperance here, and that indicates to me that maybe there's kind of like this tension between the two of you, where it's like you're pretty sure this person like wants to boink, or is into you, or like they're in the mood, but they're not necessarily making it obvious. Maybe they're not taking control of the situation or making a move, or conversely, it could be you like, well, no, this is about the other person. Okay. And then the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So that indicates to me that there's kind of been a dry spell. Or like, so if this is someone that you've been with, like you have had a dry spell with them, you know, maybe they haven't been as affectionate, maybe they haven't been as flirtatious and rowdy. But if there's someone that you don't know or that you haven't been involved with, I think that's what this signifies, is a lack of previous involvement. You know, it's kind of like, ooh, what's underneath the wrapping paper? Like, what's in the box? I want to figure out what this person's about. I want to have this experience. And so it kind of just seems like temptation, you know? And this feeling of, you know, either you haven't been with them in a while or you've never been with them. And so you're kind of like intrigued about it. So what about you entices this person into this sexy time? The 7 of Swords. Y'all are both playing hard to get, I think. The 9 of Pentacles in reverse. What about group 1 entices their person into this next sexual encounter? The Fool in reverse and the 8 of Cups. So I definitely think that you kind of play coy as well. We've got the 7 of Swords here, which can talk about like a silver tongue, you know, or being sneaky, not necessarily being directly honest, doing things that are for your own gratification. So in that respect, I definitely feel that if maybe like, if this is someone you haven't been with yet, and the topic of like, if the topic has been brought up a little bit, about being physically attracted to each other or an interest in being intimate, because remember, this is the communicator, so this person might bring it up in like a hypothetical situation, then you may be someone who's just like, no, I'm fine. Like, I am so fine with not having a partner. Like, I can take care of myself. That's what toys are for. Thank you. Or like, no, I wasn't staring at you from across the office. Why would I do that? They feel like there's a little bit of deceit there on your part, but not in a harmful, damaging, malicious way. Just kind of like you maybe trying to project that you're more confident, or more satisfied than maybe what you are. And if this is someone that you're currently with, you may be kind of I feel like part of it, some of you may be exhibiting the same behaviors of like pouting at your partner or whatever. Maybe like getting a little close to them and like stroking their leg or something like that, and they'll be like, what, are you feeling frisky? And you might be like, no. No. But they feel like that isn't necessarily honest. You may also be kind of doing things like dressing a little differently or styling your hair differently or communicating a little bit differently, so that there's this kind of subtle indication that, you want to get down and dirty, but you're not outright saying it. We've got this 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So I do want to see what that's about, because that's about like not being truly satisfied being alone in your situation. We've got the Empress in reverse here, which is very interesting because we talked about the Empress up there. That's interesting. But you also might be kind of humble. Even if you are being like flirtatious or trying to be a little seductive, I don't think you're like in their face about it. I think you still have this sense of humility and being grounded. And I think they find that very attractive. The Fool in reverse, once again, I really feel like it ties into this Ace of Wands and this Ace of Cups in reverse, that there hasn't been a new start. Maybe if you guys are together, you haven't been involved for a while, like you haven't had, you haven't done the tango for a while. Or maybe like it's just been kind of repetitious, like you've been doing kind of like falling into a rut. Sometimes we get into a sexy time rut. It happens. And so maybe like if they're seeing like this interest coming from you or feeling like you're wanting to explore, they might be excited to try something new. If this is somebody you haven't been with before, they're really interested because like they want to find out about you too. Then we have the 8 of Cups upright, and So there may have been some teasing here that you've done where they've kind of like, you've made some comments or been flirty, but then just kind of brushed it off and walked away, you know, because maybe you want them to chase you. Maybe you want them to make the first move, or maybe you just like playing with them for a little bit. I don't know. Both are fine. I think they also really see you as somebody who's just not going to waste your time. And so whether this is someone that you've been with already, are currently with, or know or have yet to meet, I think that they're going to recognize that you may not act like stuck up or too into yourself, but you do know your worth, and you're not going to sit there and waste your time on anything or anyone. Okay, so let's see what happens. We're going to get into a general narrative. So tell me about this sexy time. The Tower. It is going to be life-shattering. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to be completely different from what you're used to. And it is like, this image right here makes me think of women. I don't know if you've ever gone through this, but you know, when you get to that point where you're close to climax, or you have done it, and then like your legs just like won't stop shaking. I can totally feel that coming from this card. Because we have the Tower here, and Tower is all about a drastic, abrupt change. It might be kind of rough then, you know, if you're into that. If not, it doesn't have to be. So what else can you tell us about this next sexy time? The Two of Swords in reverse with Strength in reverse. Funny how we talked about strength as well, but this time it's in reverse. So I feel definitely if you're looking for this other person to take charge, they are going to, because the Two of Swords in reverse can talk about like stagnancy or an inability to make a decision, or not being like decisive enough. And then Strength here, it's, to me, this could be a situation where it's talking about you maybe having more of a submissive experience in this sexual encounter, or it really could talk about like giving into your inhibitions, or no, releasing your inhibitions, excuse me. And, you know, kind of like hedonist attitude, which, I mean, if we get the Devil, I'm calling it, then it's just going to be like really, really messy and hot and all over the place. But we'll see. Whatever it is gonna make you feel weak. And then we have the Chariot with the King of Swords, which is interesting. You know, this King of Swords, I would definitely associate with this communicator card. I want to see what this Chariot energy is about. Like, no, the Chariot, I think, is it Sagittarius? I don't know. But with this bow and arrow, I'm definitely thinking of Sagittarius. And so, like, Sagittarius represents, like, the traveler. So you guys might end up doing the deed in a location that's different than what you typically would. Like, I don't know, maybe a park, or maybe you travel to a hotel. Maybe you meet when you're traveling. I feel like this Chariot card could also just be talking about steering the sexual experience. So, like, for instance, if this Chariot card represented the action that you were taking, it could be you communicating with the King of Swords, because I do really see this as this person. But you communicating to the King of Swords, like, what you want done, you know, or maybe like dirty talking, you know, just you, even though if you're in a more submissive role in this situation, still finding ways to direct the experience. And if the Chariot is being controlled by the King of Swords, then I see him having more of an actively dominant personality. Or this, you know, this person doesn't have to be a he. Oof. And then, whoa. I don't know why Diamond is like. The Nine of Swords in reverse tells me that this is going to be like 100% honest. Like, even if there's insecurities here, or a sense of nervousness, like, y'all are gonna be upfront about what you want. Like, if this person wants to suck your toes, like, they're gonna tell you they want to suck your toes. Like, you guys are not afraid to tell each other if something isn't feeling good. You guys aren't afraid of telling each other, like, things that you want to explore or do, even if they might be considered like socially taboo. Like, oh, I really feel like the experience you're gonna have is gonna be like really creative and something that is totally different from your normal experience. And something where you guys could be like just blunt, you know, and get like as weird or as dirty or as taboo as you want to. I'm gonna see if there's anything else. There are a lot of swords in this part of the reading too, so that makes me definitely think of a phallic symbol. So there might be lots of phallic play, whether it's an organic phallic item or one that's been created and attached. With the King of Swords having this gavel as well, there might be a little bit of like a punishment kink going on here, you know? So I don't see this experience being like over the top extreme, but I definitely do feel that there's a possibility there could be like a sub and dom dynamic to this. Or at least kind of like a little power play. And then finally we have the Page of Cups here, which is cool because, you know, it seems like there's kind of a lack of emotion between the two of you. And sometimes, you know, if you're in a relationship for a long time or there's a lot of things going on, like that lovey-dovey can kind of disappear for a while. And it really can make us question, like, what's going on. So if you guys have been together for a while, or even if you haven't, like, this could potentially lead to a feeling of like attachment. Maybe you guys start seeing each other, whether casually or you get serious. Otherwise, I also think that this could stand for just aftercare. You know, like, this isn't going to be a bone hardcore and then bye, deuces, get out of my place, or I'm going to drive you home right away. Like, this could involve cuddling, kissing, caressing, massages, anything that would make a person feel more relaxed after an experience that may have been more intense. Did I forget to do this? Like before I finished the actual video? Yes, I did. So, hey guys. This is the board that I will be using. It's really great. I found it at the shop in Sioux Falls. I think it was just called like the Crystal Shop or something. But I had wanted something that was more than just like yes and no. So we have like yes, no, maybe. We have the days of the week on this ring. We have the different signs on the outer ring, and then we have the 4 elements in the corners. So what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at the seasons where this encounter might occur. Ooh, sorry, my thingy got tangled. This is actually a necklace that my best friend bought me. It's amber, just like me. It's very light. But I've been using it as a pendulum too, and I felt pretty confident about my results. So, I'm just gonna look for it to be swirling. Group 1. Who they're most likely going to have their next sexual encounter with. I'd say definitely Gemini is a possibility. Pisces for sure is another one. Taurus. Sagittarius. Okay, so far it looks like you're most likely to have a sexual encounter next with a Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, or Taurus. All right, now we're done. Although I'm gonna edit this so that this is gonna be before the end of the video. Bye. So, group number 1, I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I loved doing it. And if you are interested in getting a little bit more dirty with me, then I will have the link for the extended down in the description box below. Also, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not a part of our family but would like to join, you can hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And if you're interested, I am offering personal readings. You can find my contact information in the description box down below. Bye. Oh, for some reason I thought it wasn't working. It wasn't focused. Maybe that's just my eyes. Hey, group number 2, you chose the Angel card, and this is going to be all about your next sexual encounter. All of these pre-shuffled oracle cards are going to represent the person that you will have this encounter with, which could be somebody you already know, maybe even are with, or it could be somebody that will be new to you. So let's get into it. With the Angel, we have card number 25 with the Healer. We have this card that says, card number 2, the Benefactor, affirmation, I enjoy life now as I take steps to realize my new tomorrow. And then card number 34 with the North Node and Future. Okay, so there are a couple of things right away that stick out to me. We have 25 here, which breaks down to 7. And then we have 34 here, which breaks down to 7 as well. And so 7s can be about maintaining our defenses to secure the victories that we've accomplished. to prevent others from knocking us down or outside circumstances from knocking us down. Otherwise, the life path 7 could be significant. I think am I a life path 7? I don't know. I want to say I am, but I'm not sure. So that you might want to look into that. Maybe 25 or 34 are significant to you. Could be someone is younger and someone is older. Maybe there's a 7-year difference. Maybe someone was born on the 7th month or the 7th day, what have you. Then we also have 2 cards that depict angelic figures. And so that to me is just kind of this consistency that there's a sort of purity to this person that you will be encountering next. So the angel here, this card talks about somebody who assists others, but they assist as much as the other person takes responsibility as well. This angel is not one that's going to coddle someone the entire time. Like, they expect that person to put forth effort into their own circumstances, into their own success. And if that's not done, tough love can be dished out. You know, that might be in the form of withdrawing resources or communication, or that could be, just kind of encouraging them to take more initiative. What is also interesting is, like, each card in this deck has like a story. And so in the story of this angel, they go down to Earth for the first time and are in charge of caring for their first human being. And so they see everything in black and white and think like, wow, this must be really lonely to exist in this manner. But over the course of time, they begin to see the beauty in spite of the pain, or even how like moments of tragedy can lead to something positive. And so their perspective of the human experience becomes more well-rounded and more favorable. So this might be somebody who has struggled in the past to balance their perspective from a more logical standpoint into something that's more sympathetic. They may be somebody who has been in the past, or even still is, more practical than they are emotional. But they have either grown into or have moments where they experience like levels of sympathy or appreciation for these seemingly illogical moments. We've got the benefactor here and the healer. So both of these cards are related to health in one way or another. Now, the benefactor also relates to like wealth, but we'll get to that in a second. But this person could be involved in the medical field in some way. Jack, what are you doing? Hey, don't lick that. I love you. Go lay down. Yeah, so they could be in some sort of medicinal practice, maybe in like a traditional medicine, or maybe in like holistic healing. They could be potentially someone who is an important spiritual or religious figurehead. But they care about others. Truly they do. And I think they are also someone who has done a lot of inner healing. We've got like this 3-headed snake here. And this talks about how the snake has been associated with health for thousands of years. You know, we have that staff, I can't remember what it's called, but that has the snake, you know, it's the symbol of medicine. Or we have like in the eastern part of the world, you know, the concept of Kundalini. it's kind of interesting that in this bubble, you know, we have this, which I don't exactly know what that is, but we could take it for a wound, you know, and then it's clearly an eyeball and then a tear. So there's this understanding that like pain needs to be felt. This person, I think, even if they're not someone who is emotionally expressive, even if they tend to keep their emotions more to themselves, they do find ways to experience and process traumas or frustrations or insecurities. And they understand, I think, that every day we have the ability to impact others, and even the simplest of interactions can make a difference to somebody. So I think they're very conscientious of how they interact, even with strangers. Realizing that if they are to be critical of strangers, they might be creating a bigger burden for them. But if they're gracious and grateful, then that could be like a healing energy in that person, in that person's life. Now, the benefactor, it says, I enjoy life now as I take steps to realize my new tomorrow. And then we do have the North Node, future. So this person does, I think, have goals and ambitions that relate to the future, and they might be monetary, especially since this angel has like wings that are jewel encrusted, and there are jewels up top her head. But they do also know how to appreciate the moment. And I think it's because there's this kind of confidence that they'll get there. You know, they're not worried about achieving success because they do feel that it's fated. You know, like the North Node deals with the concept of fate. And something greater than us, you know, a purpose that's greater than us, something that is just kind of a part of our astrological DNA. They could have a sign that's in your North Node, or you could have a sign that's in their North Node. They could also be, I don't know, this makes me think of sci-fi or like space. So maybe they work in like it's extraterrestrial. But maybe they work in technology that deals with space research, or maybe they're just like a big sci-fi nerd. And then with this woman right here, maybe they have some ancestry like that's Egyptian or whatnot, or maybe they have a very strong interest in Egyptian history. With both of these cards depicting women, this person could be female or could be a little bit more of like a feminine appearing like male, or they could be non-binary or gender fluid, what have you. But I think this is somebody who also does prioritize their finances. They may have a very prominent position. They may be kind of frugal in their spending. And I think it's for like the security. I kind of feel like Capricorn vibes over here. I don't know. So we're going to see like what it is about them that gets you all tuned into getting freaky with them, and then vice versa. Because that'll just kind of cover regardless if you know this person or not. And then we'll look at some slightly generalized things that may occur during the sessy time. Okay, so what about this person entices group 2 to sleep with them? I'm sorry, that's way too many. You can't just lay that all out. I had a long day today. I need a little bit more simplified of an explanation. We have the Five of Wands here and Strength. Okay. It's very interesting. The Five of Wands can be about a lack of confrontation. And there's Strength, which is like holding back. What about this person entices? The Two of Cups in reverse. What about this person entices group 2? And then the Knight of Wands in reverse. What's this Five of Wands in reverse? The Six of Swords and the Four of Cups. Okay. So this could be, if you guys have been involved or know each other, this could be that in the past, potentially there have been disagreements and arguments, but now you're in a position with them where that's let go. You know, things are moving into calmer waters. Like, I remember when my first boyfriend, towards the end of our relationship, I was so stressed out. And not just by him, but by other things going on in my life that I had no libido. But I tell you what, when we started playing like Mario Kart or like Super Smash Bros or whatever, 20 minutes into that, my stress was gone and I was like, let's go. So overall, this could also indicate that you're experiencing less stress. Even if like this is somebody that you don't know, maybe things in your life have improved. Maybe you just got out of a toxic connection and you're looking at this person and you're like, I'm in a way better position now. And I am ready to mingle, or like, you know what? This person is like way better than the last person I was with. Like, I'm gonna get it because I earned it. With this Strength card, I think that you see them as somebody who can be very passionate, but very well controlled. Somebody who takes charge, somebody who knows what they're doing. Maybe you work with this person. I don't know. Or maybe you just end up in the environment of this person. I want to see what this Two of Cups in reverse is about. Okay, the Queen of Cups upright with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So I feel like you are represented here as the Queen of Cups, although you do not have to be female. And I think right now you're just kind of looking for something that's casual. Especially if you don't know this person. Because with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, what that indicates to me is that there's been kind of a bad luck that you've experienced, or just a repetitive occurrence where like maybe you're getting really attached to people and then finding out that they don't get attached to you, or like they abuse your trust or your affection. And so I think especially if this is someone that you don't know, then I would say you're kind of like, hey, this could be a no string, like this could be a friends with benefits kind of thing, or this could be a one-time thing. Maybe you just need to burn off some steam. And then with this Knight of Wands in reverse, I really feel like one thing that kind of turns you on about this person is that they're not making a move towards you. And I think that's kind of refreshing, because maybe you are someone who gets like a lot of attention. And so to have somebody in your environment that is appealing in so many different ways, but also isn't like coming at you, seeming like an F-boy, or an F-girl. Like, I think that could be attractive to you too, So what about you entices this person into getting freaky? Like, why do they want to get freaky with you? What is it about you? The Two of Pentacles in reverse with the Four of Swords. I feel like there's this sense that you just kind of don't care, and I don't know what it is about. Like, it could be you don't care about other people who are checking you out, or you don't care about, if someone likes you or not, even as, like, say if this is a work environment, maybe some of your coworkers are snobby and it's not eating you up. You're just like, whatever, that's your problem. Like, the Page of Swords in reverse. I'll tell you what, I want to go back to this over here. If this is someone that you're with or someone that you know, it could be like if you've felt like there's been this cycle of being emotionally drained or let down, just kind of being like, even if they're my partner, like, I want to go at it without like really any emotion attached. Like, I just literally need to burn off some steam. Anyway, back to you. Page of Swords in reverse. I feel like you might be a little secretive. You might be somebody that they don't know a lot about, or if this is somebody that you don't know, or somebody that you haven't been involved with. I do feel like for the most part, a lot of you might not have been intimate with this person yet, if you do know them. But if you are with them, it could be that, they're kind of missing that communication with you. And what about this person? What about group one? And then the High Priestess. Holy shit, I just talked about being mysterious. They don't know what you're up to, group two. They're going to investigate. They like a good mystery. So, and they think you know some things. If they haven't been with you, they think you know how to get a little freaky deaky. Okay, so what can you tell us about this next sexual encounter? Please tell us about this next sexual encounter. The Page of Wands in reverse. What's that about? The Nine of Pentacles. Okay. So the Page of Wands is somebody who is coming forward to offer something creative or passionate. And so it's interesting that we have the Page of Wands in reverse, which would kind of mean like withholding. And then the Nine of Pentacles, which is all about satisfaction in oneself, being independent. Miss Independent. Miss, keep your distance. So, There could be some self-pleasure here. Like maybe you guys watch one another or someone watches the other, kind of like taking care of business on their own. What this could also mean is kind of like pushing the boundaries, maybe doing a little bit of edging, maybe doing some teasing where it's like, like we're not going to get to this right away. I feel like there's going to be this tension and like this sense of control, where instead of like just jumping each other, there's holding back in some way. What else can you tell us about this next sexual encounter? The Three of Pentacles in reverse with Temperance in reverse. Okay, so I think the Three of Pentacles is all about working together, right? It's about teamwork. That's not present here. And there is not moderation. So definitely, I think there is one person who has more control over the situation than the other and uses it excessively, There could also just be more of a focus on one person. Like you might focus more on them during this encounter, or they might focus more on you. What else can we gather from this sexual encounter? The naughtiness. What else is going to happen? The Star. Wow. Okay. I think this could definitely be healing, like a refreshing experience, because the Star is about like hope after tragedy. So maybe the hope is like, just feeling good after you've had a drought. Or, if you've kind of been in separation with a partner or not been in agreement with each other, this could just be like, this feels so good to connect with them again. I think this could also just represent feeling refreshed within yourself. I'll tell you what, there was one dude that I slept with. Like, I don't hook up very much. And I was trying to be good, but I have little self-control. I'm a hedonist through and through. I got a Venus in Libra. Okay, it's not my fault. But I think my Lilith is also in Libra. I swear to God, like after we finished, I was good for 3 weeks. Like I had a naughty time hangover for 3 days because I didn't hydrate like he told me to. But I swear, for like 3 weeks, I was good. I was the happiest person in the world. I was going to work smiling all the time. And you might just kind of feel that sense of peace. Anything else you want to tell us about this getting freaky? The Six of Wands. The Six of Wands. You're going to enjoy it. And I think you are going to reach the climax. I definitely think you will be seeing the face of God. Unless you are a person who just like wants the satisfaction of making someone else see the face of God, then that might be what this is about. But you're going to like it, group number 2. You're going to like it. Okay, so now we're going to get my little pendulum board. It's a necklace. It's made out of amber, just like me. It's A lot lighter than me though. And then this is my board that I got from a store in Sioux Falls. I think it's just like literally called the Crystal Shop or something. And I like it because it has a diverse like set of categories here. We have yes, no, maybe. We have the days of the week. We have the zodiac signs, and then we have the elements here. So what we're going to be looking at is like, what season of the year could this happen? I hope for most of you sooner rather than later, because I've been in a drought and it's no fun. But we shall see. So we're just going to look for a lot of spinny spin. Okay, Libra season, which we did just pass. Gemini season, which I think is partially in June. Scorpio season, which we are currently in. I just like to give it a little time before I make a judgment call. Leo season, which is August and July. And then Aries season. That's coming up in like several months, but definitely sooner than Leo season. Did I do Aquarius? Yeah. Okay. So that is what I have for you. We're looking at Libra, Gemini, Scorpio, Leo, or Aries seasons. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. We could be a big family, and you can hit the notification bell so as you to know when I upload a new video. And if you would like a personal reading from yours truly, my contact information is down in the description box below. Bye. Hey, group 3, you chose the card Green Man, and this is going to be your reading on your next sexual encounter. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the type of person that you'll be interacting with through these oracle cards, and then we will use these tarot cards to indicate what entices them into this sexual encounter, and then what entices you into the sexual encounter, and get some kind of less descriptive explanations of like what's going to happen. And then if you enjoy this portion of the reading, I am going to have an extended reading with the links down in the description box below. So let's get started. Oh, also, we're also going to be using my cool ass pendulum board to figure out like what seasons of the year you might encounter this person. So anyway, we have the Green Man. We have this beautiful card with number 43, the Sovereign. Affirmation, I am my authentic self and no one has dominion over me. We have card number 52 with Trine Sextile, Symbiosis. And then we have card number 67 with the Stone. So let's see if we have any repeating numbers. Now this one right here says 1874. So what does that break down to? 12, 19, 20. That breaks down to 2. We also have the 13th. I think that's the 13th of May. I don't know what language that's in, but I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be May. So that could be that could be a hint. The 13th of May, that could be somebody's birthday or the time around which you meet them. May is Taurus season, if I remember correctly. I dated a guy whose birthday was May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. And his mom was so funny. I loved her. She was like, oh, your birthday's on Cinco de Mayo this year. It never falls on Cinco de Mayo. We were like, Sally, come on. Cinco de Mayo was the 5th of May. That's always going to be his birthday. We also have 43 here with 7. We have 52 with 7. And we have 67, which is 4. So any of those numbers could be significant. 7, that could be like a life path number. 7 month, 7th year. I could have sworn, was there another pile that got a lot of 7s? I don't know. I feel like there was, but maybe that's just me thinking about when I pulled these cards out. So, because like I'm a life path 7. I don't remember what life path 7 means. My knowledge of numerology is like rudimentary at best, but let's get into it. So 1874 could be significant. There could be something regarding their family that happened towards the latter quarter of the 19th century for them. I don't really know anything about that time of human existence, but if there was a war somewhere, or if their family, like, I don't know, like if, for instance, you're in the United States or maybe in Canada, I guess anywhere really, and maybe the family immigrated to this location in 1874, around there. Anything significant in that. What I do feel a lot from this energy with the Sovereign, the Stone, and the Green Man is someone who is very grounded and very secure within themselves. So when we look at this Sovereign card here, this talks about, I am my authentic self and no one has dominion over me. The book goes into further discussion about the Sovereign understanding that the power that we have is best used to help others. And they understand that, like, they're very willing to work with other people, but they understand that egos a lot of times can interfere with that. Like, other people may not be willing to lay their ego to rest in order to collaborate. This card also talks about somebody who knows that things like envy and vanity can really get someone's attention. So we see here, there's like there's this crown. This parrot looks like it's almost jewel encrusted. So this could be somebody who has a lot of finer things in life. They may be older. They may be more well-to-do, or they may just kind of have the appearance of like a recognition or affluence or something. And I don't think these are things that are like they're really flaunting. I don't think that they're the type of person who has a Mercedes Benz because they want to make everybody feel jealous. But they might have a Mercedes Benz because they like Mercedes Benz, and they also know that, like, if someone comes forward and they're really impressed with, oh, hey, dude, that's a cool car, then they can use that as an entry point into a more authentic discussion, because I think they see the flaws in humanity, and I don't think they judge people for them, I don't think that they look down on others for being materialistic or for having addictions or being superficial. I think that they realize, like, hey, yeah, that's a huge part of being human. But that's also a way that I can connect with somebody and make it an encounter genuine. So this is the kind of person I think who may, for instance, meet somebody on the street who is homeless, and they're not necessarily going to, I think, give them like $10,000 or buy them a new home. But I think that they also don't judge them. They have enough of an understanding to be like, hey, this could happen to any one of us. Like, maybe this homeless person is currently an alcoholic, and they're like, yeah, that's a big part of the homeless experience. And they understand that, like, typically things like substance abuse occur after someone becomes homeless, and their homelessness isn't a result of the substance abuse. Like, they have a lot of empathy for people, and they have the emotional intelligence to observe situations and like do their research. I definitely think this is someone who kind of finds satisfaction in teaching people how they can help themselves. Like, it's okay, for instance, like if we go back to the homelessness scenario, homelessness is extremely difficult to get out of. Like, once you are homeless, like you don't have a regular place to bathe. You don't have a way in which to like consistently clean your clothing. You don't have a permanent address. You might lose your identification, which makes it very difficult to get a job, and all of a sudden, like, you're having to focus on your immediate needs, like your hunger, your depression, and you can't therefore really invest in your long-term needs. So this type of person might be somebody who sees, like, okay, this person is in a really difficult situation, and when they're on the streets, they can't really sit there and save every fucking penny that they've got. So this is the type of person who I think would help find them resources. Like, here's information, we can get you in touch with these people who can help you with getting a place to stay. Here are some really great like rehab counselors. Here are agencies that work with homeless individuals to help get them skills or something so that they can have a better chance at the workforce. Things like that. Things that are going to help this person in the long run, and also give them the ability to like focus on that, put them in a position where they're not just like out in the open elements and expecting them to be able to focus on their long-term future, but get them into a situation where they can feel comfortable enough in their immediate needs being met in order to focus on the long-term needs. With this person being the green man, this might be somebody who kind of blends in around you. This could be somebody with the green man and the stone who is like an earth element, or has significant earth element in their charts. The green man is also like a literary figure, a mythological figure, a historical figure. One of the identities of like the green man is like Robin Hood, steal from the rich to give to the poor. So I do feel that this person has like a certain sense of justice in them. I don't think that they necessarily go out of their way to like out of their way to serve others, I suppose. I do feel like they kind of have this sense of like, you know, life will guide me to the people who will benefit from me the most, you know, or like I'm just going to continue to live my life, because this card does talk about living by example and that being the best testimony. This also talks about, this card talks about the green man being the masculine god representation, and also being a narrative of how it interacts with like the divine feminine. So I do think this person is very well balanced. With both of these cards being opposite sexes, this person could either be female or male. Maybe they're very well balanced in their masculine and feminine side, or maybe, you know, they're trans or gender fluid or non-binary. This symbiosis card, so symbiosis is the process of having a mutually beneficial relationship in science, you know, a symbiotic relationship. And with trines and sextiles, those are placements within our birth chart that are beneficial to each other. So like a trine, I think, is in the same element. So you have two signs that are in either fire, air, water, or earth. And then a sextile is in, I think it said the same polarity, but different modalities, like cardinal, mutable, and I don't remember what the other one is. But it describes them as being like best friends, you know, who support each other and are non-competitive. And then the stone, this talks about how the stone goes through this transformation gradually, you know, and when we look at a stone the way it is now, we don't see it for everything that it's gone through. I mean, there are certain things that we can do geographically to kind of get a bigger picture of the history of the stone, but the stone wears because of human activity, because of weather patterns, because of the natural progression of time. And so I think this person has done a lot of transformation and is continuing to transform, but it's at a quiet, gradual pace. I don't think that they're necessarily somebody who puts their traumas or their difficulties on show. But, you know, if you were to kind of dig into their past, you would see how they've matured and how they've gotten to who they are today. This does seem like somebody who is a dominant personality, but not somebody who like really wants to control anybody else. Like, this is somebody who isn't going to waste time with people who abuse them or are negative. And in the bedroom, this person probably is the one to take charge, but maybe has more of like a soft dom energy. You know, I don't think that this is necessarily somebody who is into like a lot of pain or degradation. It does seem like somebody who has kind of like daddy dom energy, is very sensual. So we're going to see what entices them into this sexual interaction. Okay. I don't know if I want to accept those. All right, let's see. What entices group 2's person? There is the Queen of Wands with the Nine of Cups. So there's definitely someone who is not feeling fulfilled. And it's interesting because the Nine of Cups is about personal satisfaction. And the Queen of Wands upright is somebody who is very confident. You know, they are secure in themselves. They believe in their ability to create and transform. They're very adaptable. And so whoever is represented by this Queen of Wands isn't somebody who's like self-confident or isn't like happy or secure in themselves or is desperate. They're just somebody who's like, yo, I need a little bit of external satisfaction here. You know? All right, so what entices this person into the connection? So we have the Sun. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Eight of Swords. And we have Judgment here. So I'm actually going to put these down here, I think. So this is a very interesting combination. Let's see how we're going to break this down. So, I kind of want to put the Knight of Pentacles underneath the Sun. And then Judgment, I want to put the Eight of Swords underneath Judgment. So with the Sun here and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like this situation that you encounter is going to kind of be a surprise to them. Like they weren't sure which way it was going to go. Like maybe you approached them or maybe they approached you, but it wasn't either it was kind of a surprise that the opportunity presented itself, or they are encouraged into the sexual encounter because they're intrigued, because they don't know where it's going to go. So the Knight of Pentacles in upright is somebody who is very consistent. There's always a plan. It's kind of slow moving, but in reverse, the plan isn't fixed. It can be kind of like scattered energy, like in a way you kind of know what you want, but you don't know how to get there. So they may see this as like, I think they're intrigued by it, you know? And then with this Judgment, with the Eight of Swords upright, that's interesting because, I mean, swords are all about mental clarity, about our judgment, you know, about our perspective. But the Eight of Swords is somebody who is restricted and bound by their own fears and prejudices and perspectives. So I kind of feel like this person, because I don't feel like this person is limited at all. So I do kind of feel like the Queen of Wands is representative of you, and that they see you as somebody who may be a little bit more mentally restricted. And hey, puppies. They see you potentially as more mentally restricted. Like maybe you've been more conservative in your sexual relationships, and so you haven't really explored your sexuality a lot. And that could be like, you know, maybe you've only ever really engaged in vanilla sex, which there's nothing wrong with, you know, but maybe you're interested in you know, trying role playing or doing a little bit of BDSM or involving another partner. Maybe you're somebody who is always kind of like if, for instance, maybe you've always kind of existed in heterosexual connections. I just saw 2121. But maybe you're like bi-curious or something, and maybe this person is like the same sex as you. And so it's kind of like you've always maybe thought like, ooh, this is taboo, I shouldn't do this, or I don't know, but obviously like you would be the one who would be consenting to this. So they're not trying to pressure you into anything. But this person might be somebody who's available to be like, hey, let's find it out. Like, let's see what you're into. maybe you've only ever been involved with sexually with people that you've been in committed relationships with, and maybe this is just a fling, you know? So I think that this sexual interaction and this person is something that's outside of your comfort zone, and you might be a little timid about it, but overall I think you could be approaching the situation very like maturely, and kind of with the idea of, you know, I'm not feeling fulfilled. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing in this circumstance. And this person is just like, hey, let's figure it out together. And I think there's somebody who, you know, genuinely wants you to explore your own sexuality. Like, they have their needs, and I do think that they're very clearly like a dominant person, but they're not here to like manipulate you into something that you don't want to do. You know, if you don't want to do it, okay, fine. If it's a deal breaker for them, then they'll be honest about that. If it's not a deal breaker for them, then they'll be like, okay, we don't have to do this. But I think that they, as much as this person enjoys physical pleasure, I think they also derive a sense of pleasure from like other people figuring out what pleases them, if that makes sense, you know? They could also smoke a lot of pot just because of the green man, or maybe they're like vegetarian or vegan. I don't know. Or it could just be that they feel like a really old soul, you know? So what's going to entice you about this sexual connection, like this interaction? Why are you going to do it? Oh. Okay, we have the Six of Swords with the King of Swords in reverse and the Three of Wands. Woo, so that is heavy energy. So the Six of Swords talks about moving past hardships and into better waters. This King of Swords in reverse, I do feel represents potentially somebody else. You know, this might indicate that there was somebody that you had been interacting with, whether it was a committed partner or a prospective potential partner, and maybe there has been a lack of communication with them. And then like the Three of Wands is all about creative expansion. So this could indicate that what entices you into this interaction is like, maybe you're letting go of someone that it didn't work out with in the past, and you're like, okay, I'm at a point where I'm ready to move on from this, and I want to explore myself. This could also indicate with the King of Swords in reverse, maybe just like a certain resistance that you're moving on from. Like maybe if you were too maybe if you restricted yourself in your sexuality in the past, you know, this could just be indicative of you being like, okay, I'm ready to move on from this restrictive thinking. So this could even indicate like, if this is somebody that you know, like if this green man is a person that you know and you're currently involved with, this might be you breaking that threshold and going like, okay, babe, I'm ready. Like, let's do something a little bit different. And then we have the Hermit here. Let's see what clarifies the Hermit. Ooh, with the King of Pentacles. Huh. That's interesting because the Hermit is, I think I know where this is going, but I definitely want to see if, the Hermit is somebody who goes into like hibernation from the universe. They go into like a sense of solitude to really figure out their inner truths. And the King of Pentacles, man, that is somebody who is, I mean, that is the green man, essentially. But that's somebody who's very secure in themselves, who is abundant, has their own stuff set aside, isn't afraid to share, and has access to all of the resources that they need. Ah, okay. The Nine of Swords with the Magician in reverse. So I think this is really talking about you just doing a lot of inner healing. It feels like maybe in the past you had a lot of anxiety about things in your life remaining stagnant, or you yourself remaining stagnant. So this could be like if you've been searching for a partner, getting frustrated because it's like, nobody is working out. Like, I go on these dates and things seem like they're going fine, but then it never happens. It never gets further. Or like I end up just picking the wrong kinds of people. I seem to have like a type that's really not good for me. Or like in the confines of a relationship, this could be like, I'm so frustrated with myself because like I want to be more open. I want to explore more, but like I'm afraid, like I'm scared. Like it can be very intimidating to explore your sexuality, especially if you're in a culture that kind of like encourages you to be more conservative, like American culture, for instance. There's a part of American culture that is so hedonistic and it's acceptable. Like we look at billboards and TV and there's like so much sexuality in it. But especially if you're a female or if you're queer, like then society wants to prohibit you from enjoying your sexuality. It's like, oh, those things are taboo, you shouldn't be doing it. So you may have, if you're in a connection, you may feel like the things that you want to explore are taboo, and you've really had to go through and heal, like figure out why you're afraid of that, how it's impacting you, and what you can do about it. So this feels like a really like mental connection. This feels like a connection that I think you always have a choice to do something or to not. I mean, I think definitely we can energetically be drawn to or draw in situations or people that either we desire or we need, but we always have the capacity to reject or accept something, But I definitely think that this connection is coming along because I think you both are in positions where it's right for this to happen. This person's just out living his life, or, in the relationship, somebody who's very secure in themselves and is very open to trying things with people. And I think you're in a position where you're finally just like trying to break down the mental barriers and try to find your more authentic version of yourself. So I think this sexual encounter is really about healing. I just saw 3003. So give us some deets. Like, what's going to happen? I don't know how that card wanted to fall. Okay, so the Six of Cups in reverse. I do feel like that's talking about letting go of the past. What else can we learn? The Star and the High Priestess. It's kind of interesting how they both have like these stars right next to their foreheads. I think there's going to be a lot of mental stimulation here. So this person could challenge you a little bit, if they see that you have like some insecurities or some hesitations. If challenging in the respect of like trying to help you grow and overcome any mental blockages that you have. So for instance, okay, say this is just a hookup. Or even like maybe in a relationship, maybe like you've gained some weight, okay? And so in either situation, you're a little bit nervous about showing your body to this person. If it's just a hookup, maybe you're nervous about showing your body because like this is a person that you don't plan on seeing again. And this is someone you're not committed to, and that might be unusual for you. If it's the other situation, you've gained some weight, maybe you have a negative association with weight and sexual attraction and desirability. And so in either situation, maybe this person is like, I want you to do a striptease for me. And in your mind, you're like, what? And like, maybe you feel a little bit shy about this. And it's like, not necessarily that you're totally against it. You're not like, oh, stripteases are so fucking trashy. It's more so that you're just like, I don't feel comfortable in myself. Like, because there's this negative association with really showing my body to a stranger, or, you know, association with weight. And maybe this person is just encouraging you, like, just take it slow. You know, we could put on some music. I just want you to go to move however you want to. Like, and so it's not that they're trying to force you to do something that you don't want to do. It's that they're trying to put you in a situation where you overcome a trigger, you know? Like, we don't grow from, oh, I just saw the lovers are right here. We don't grow from comfortable situations. And of course, if you're really adamant about this, the person will move on. You know, if you're really like, fuck no, I'm not doing it, I'm sorry, I can't, then they're going to move on. They'll be like, okay, fine, we don't have to do it. I do think with this Six of Cups in reverse, it's going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced before. And that could be because of the skills of the other person, but it could also be because of you letting your guard, like your walls down. Oh my God, you guys, look, seriously, the lovers. Now, we were just talking about destiny, okay? And I don't really believe in destiny, but if you've really been wanting a change, then this is a pivotal moment for you. I do think that with the holding hands, there's going to be a certain level of intimacy, even if this is just a hookup. Like, you kind of expect that if you're in a relationship, but even if this is just a hookup, I think that there's going to be, you know, a little bit of cuddling, a little bit of soothing. This person isn't like, you know, pump and dump, you know, like, this is a very sensual person who is going to caress you and kiss you, and oof, this might happen at nighttime, because we've got these lanterns lit in the dark. And then what else do we have? We have the Four of Pentacles in reverse with the Queen of Swords upright and the Three of Swords in reverse. So I do see like a lot of mental energy here. So I do feel like a lot of this focus is on how you are going to level up and upgrade in your confidence and in your sexuality. Which is funny because we do talk about this Queen of Wands, and that being somebody who isn't necessarily insecure or dissatisfied with life overall. This contrast could be, maybe this is just, you know, they see you as the Queen of Wands and they might not really notice any insecurities that you have. Or it could be that, like, for me, you know, sometimes it's easier for me, like, to flirt with somebody and to make these plans. And then when I get in the moment, you know, I'm kind of intimidated. Like, it's easier to talk about than I can put on a good bravado, you know, sexually. And then I get in the moment and I'm like, shit, I'm shy. I'm so shy. But this is really talking about letting go with this Four of Pentacles in reverse, and the Three of Swords in reverse is really about healing. And so I do feel that this is a situation where it's going to be very liberating for you. I feel like you are also going to be somebody who does learn to be more relaxed because of the situation. And so maybe in the past you might have been more reserved, and I think you are going to learn to be more sexually active in situations that you're not used to. Um, so, yeah. I know this was, I love this. I know this was not a lot of like physical energy, but I promise you, in the extended, we will get into that definitely. I do think that the universe, like the message that's coming here for you though, is just, if you have any inhibitions, if you're feeling self-conscious or whatever, like this is potentially a good experience for you to have so that you can help yourself grow. I just saw 37. So we're going to see what times of the year you're most likely going to experience this. Okay. I'm just looking for a little swirl. Maybe Gemini season, which I know is a ways off, but maybe Scorpio season, which we're in right now. Taurus season, which we got like in April or May. Ooh, Sagittarius season, which is coming up. Okay, so we're looking at Gemini, Scorpio, Taurus, and Sagittarius. So if this resonated with you guys, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to be part of our family and you haven't yet already, join us by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And if you're interested in a personal reading with yours truly, you can find my contact information in the description box down below. Bye.